Hey there, community. It's the Blue Bomber here. I'm going to be showing you today how to test out the Vapid FMJ for free using a tip with the creator mode and your single player character, Franklin. I'm also going to be doing a quick overview and giving my thoughts on the vehicle and where it stands with the other DLC vehicles that have recently been released. Now, one thing to note is that you cannot take these vehicles into online like this. However, you can, in most circumstances, bring it into single player and play with them there. The only ones that I haven't been able to successfully achieve this with are the new Fister and the X80 Proto. So let's get into this.
First thing you want to do is you want to switch over to Franklin. The reason for this is when you switch over to the creator mode, you're going to be playing as Franklin in your mode, even though technically it's kind of online, but you don't use your online character for that. So now that I'm set as Franklin, but I want to go over to online mode. And real quick, the reason why you want to be in here as Franklin is at some point he can purchase this Los Santos custom shop in the Grand Senora Desert. And by doing that, only Franklin can go to this shop, and every single thing that he takes in there will be done for free. So I'm going to go over to online and go down to creator. So what you're going to want to do with this is once you get into the creator menu is you're going to create a race. You want to create a land race. And not just any land race, you want to make it a GTA race. And the reason for that is when you're in the free roam capabilities in the creator, you can enter any garage, including a Los Santos Customs. But if it's set as a standard race, you won't be able to mod the car. If it's set as a GTA race, you will be able to mod the car. I hope so much that this is not something that Rockstar patches because it doesn't hurt their bottom line. It just makes single player a little more fun to do because they haven't updated it. And it helps you get a chance to, like I said, for the car before you buy it, because ultimately if it is something you like, you will buy it. First off, for you want to go into race details, set the title as anything. It doesn't matter because you're going to end up you're not going to save this race anyway, so title and description can be just set to random. Photo, like I said, you're not going to save this, so just take the first picture just so it has something to put in there. Max players, just for my sanity, I throw it down to 2. Race type, like I said, needs to be set to GTA. Laps or point to point doesn't matter. Since it spawned me already out here in the creator, I'm going to go with laps and set it to 1. Grid size, I'm going to set it to large just to maximize the type of vehicles that I can use. Default class, this is where you can really set it to anything you want at this point. Just to make it easier, I'm going to set it to super. And I'm going to start with, let's start with a T20 because I still do like this one the most, even after the current updates. Time of day, I'm going to keep it at noon and clear with no traffic so I don't have to worry about NPCs. All this other stuff really doesn't matter. Lobby camera, same thing as the last picture, just grab a picture, doesn't matter what you do. Checkpoints. Now, like I said before, it doesn't really matter what you do, but you have to create this. You have to be able to complete the race one time. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to go back. Weapons and props. It's not going to matter because you're at the end of this, you're not even going to save this race because you'll have to do this every single time. So I recommend making it as simple as possible. You'll go back one more time and you have to test this, and it's going to pop us out into this as if it was a standard race. And I like that they got rid of the standard brown color that they automatically assign to every new vehicle in here when you do the creator mode. Just tends to liven things up a little bit instead of giving you this bland color. So once you're done with that, hit OK. Well, that's A on Xbox One. I think it's X on PS4. And once you've done that, you'll be back into here. So go into race details, and the one that I'm going to play with is the new FMJ. So I'm going to set, go back to the creator menu, and once I'm in here, I can move this little cursor around. And you'll see down in the menu in the right corner there where it says switch camera. But I'm going to hit that to switch the camera, and that's going to pop me back down in here. So there we go. I have a car that I didn't have to purchase. And since I'm Franklin, we'll be able to customize this for free. I can drive over to the LSC shop if I want to really get a feel for how the stock car feels without having to drop, what is it, I think $1.7 million or something. Or, since we're in the creator mode, we can just go down to where that Los Santos Customs is, which is right here on the map, right below Trevor's Airfield, and basically between the airfield and the prison, which is right here, and just hit A to warp right over there. Pull in slowly. You don't want to drive in real quick and kill him, or else you're going to have to drive around and let him respawn. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously repair the vehicle, but before you do anything, do not hit down on the D-pad to go down this list, because what that'll do is it'll actually glitch out and think that you're trying to re-enter the creator menu. So instead you want to pull down on the joystick. So I'll go down here. I'm just going to apply everything, all the basic stuff. Bumpers. This is one thing that I'm going to get back to this in a minute, was when people were going through bumpers, and I saw this on some other videos that were posted, they were saying, what's the difference between the stock front bumper and the primary color trim? Nothing seems to be going on. So in order to really demonstrate that, I'm going to go down to respray real quick. And so you can see the standard color for the front bumper is the secondary color. And the secondary color, I should have showed before too, and I'll show again, is the brake calipers, which is a neat little feature. And I really wish that that was something that they added in for all vehicles and made it a separate option so you could make the brake calipers whatever color you wanted. And it didn't have to be the second color. I think that would be a really cool addition for the future. So hopefully if Rockstar ever watches this video, they'll see, that would be something. I know this isn't Need for Speed Underground, but it's just one of those little accents that really sets other cars apart, and especially if people do car shows with other people. I know that's something that a lot of the car communities really like to do online, and that would just be something to add just that little extra bit of detail to customizations. The primary color, the matte black, I really don't understand why this was added in, mostly because Carbon looks identical to it. I don't know if it's just the lighting in this Los Santos Customs or what, but I don't understand matte black, because you can set the secondary color of that if you want, but whatever. I'm going to go with primary color. I like all the body panels being the same color on this vehicle. Out of the two vehicles, out of this and the Pegasi Reaper, I think this is the best design vehicle, and I really do like it. I think they did a good job with it, with a couple exceptions, and I'll get into that in a minute. So with respray, one thing I did like about this was, and I tried this out before, and I really do like the brush steel on this. It reminds me a lot of one of the Saline S7s I actually saw one time, of that kind of color with that type of reflection. I thought was really, really sick. Secondary color, let's see here, I'm going to go with metallic, and I did like the purple on this, so I'm going to go with that. And just to add a little bit extra of the purple, I'm going to glitch out this color a little bit. And if anybody hasn't seen this before, this is how some people get these really cool color schemes. So what you want to do is, normally when you select a metal or a matte paint job, you can't select pearlescence. So what you want to do is, under your primary color, go to metallic and just start scrolling up. You have to just go through everything on the list. At least that's what I learned. So after you do that, go back and go under lights, go under headlights, and choose whatever one you didn't have equipped. So I'm going to go back to stock and then choose xenon lights again, and then go back to respray, go back to primary color, and now I can go into pearlescence and change the pearlescent, which you can add some really cool color combinations. I know I've done lime green with this, which was really cool. This red actually looks pretty badass. Even on, if you choose the matte black and then do some of these, you get some really cool color combinations. But personally, since I chose the purple on the brakes, I'm actually going to go and apply that to this one as well, which I guess I should have went the other way. And I tried the other ones out. I tried shafter purple, since I think that's what I put on the brakes, and none of them really show up as well as bright purple, so I'm going to go with that one. Next up would be roof. I really do like the roof scoop there. That's what I'm going to apply. The other ones in here too, you can see. Cover up the engine cover in the back. But personally, I really do like the way that the engine looks in there, so I'd really like to see that. So I'm just going to leave the standard roof scoop on. The spoiler, I really don't like what they did with this car with the customizations for the spoiler. So sorry for the pun, spoiler alert. The little LED brake light on the back there was just the right accent, I think, that really helps bring a lot of this in together with this style. So when I go down to something like low level spoiler, I zoom in there, it gets rid of that. And you're gonna be spending a lot of time looking at the back of this car when you're driving it. Why would they take that little accent off for something that really looks kind of unfinished? Okay, this one here, the high level one, they just take that and bring it up. It's kind of like that drag one on the whatever the Charger equivalent is in here, on some of the muscle cars. So I mean, that just doesn't. It just looks kind of bad, I think. The carbon wing, okay, I can see that the mounting points on that kind of prevent them from replacing the rest of the bridge that goes from the tail lights to the center there. But I feel like they could have done something just a little bit extra to bridge that gap, because otherwise you just get this really weird space and it looks incomplete. The GT wing again does the same thing, and I mean, okay, even though it's not mounted in the same place, again, they did free up that space, so they should have been able to at least put the stock spoiler back on there. Now, the enhanced one. What is enhanced about this wing? There's nothing different. It doesn't change the traction at all. It doesn't change performance whatsoever. All it does is change the fins on the side of the spoiler to the secondary color. So why is that enhanced? Why doesn't it say just secondary color GT wing and primary or black? You know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. These are the kind of little goofs that remind me of some of the modded vehicles that I've seen in the PC version of GTA Online or GTA 5, where somebody put in a real-life Lamborghini, for example, but forgot to change the text in the LSC for the options and left the originals in there. That's the kind of little goofs that I really don't like with this. But overall, I really like the stock one best, so that's the one I'm going to leave on there. End rant on the spoiler. Suspension, I'm going to put competition, because I think with the stock suspension is interesting with this car, because it really makes the with all the power that this car has with its stock suspension, and because of that stock suspension, it tends to fishtail quite a bit. So the competition really, I think, helps it stick to the ground a little bit more. It still does move quite a bit, and it's still a little slick on those rear wheels with this, but not quite as much, and I think that really helps. The Reaper, I feel, did the best job in terms of traction. There are a lot of turns and quick quick turns that I've been able to make with that, and the car just sticks to the ground. It doesn't have a great bit of acceleration in the Reaper, but the way that it does take corners, I really, really am happy with. But I think the best option for the Reaper is, I think it stops with sport suspension. I don't think it has competition suspension. So I usually, I think, use the street one for the Reaper. Whatever the one is, the next to the last in the Reaper is the one I've found I've been able to use the best. But I like this one on here. Anyway, transmission, add that, turbo. Now you're going to go some fast stuff or whatever he says. Wheels, wheel type, I like to go with the high end. And what's different about doing this, if you don't remember, you don't get the option for all chrome versions of these in single player. But the one thing that I do like about this, and they do have this GT chrome under the standard high-end wheels online, is this is, to my knowledge, the only chrome wheel that you can actually also apply a paint job to. And that's why I do like this. So I'm going to apply that one. Wheel color. This is where I can go down and choose something like the shafted purple. And I like that it puts that little, just that real little finish to the inside of the wheel well there. And if you do like an all black version of a car or something, and then you go and choose something like the fluorescent blue, it really gives a little Tron effect to some cars. And I really think that looks really cool, especially whenever the wheel starts spinning real fast and you start to lose the shape of the wheel there and just see that real high neon type color in there. I think you can get some really cool effects with that. Anyway, tires. I've never really been a fan of the custom tire design except for the white walls on the lowriders. Bulletproof tires, tires smoke. It doesn't matter what I do with that. Okay, now windows. Like I said, I really, really love the fact that you can look down and see the engine almost in the center of the car like that. There's a lot of really cool stuff with that. And these really narrow windows are really, really slick. So when I go and put limo tint on there, I think that looks really, really cool. And I really like that, but then I go back around and I see that the tint has almost completely blocked out the engine. And I think that that was a big mistake on their part. I mean, I understand that pretty much every window except for the windshield gets tinted out like that, but looks really cool down here. But I can't see the thing that I really liked on here. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the none on that. And it still looks good. It still looks really cool. But I really wish that I was able to get the limo tint on just the windows only. Still waiting for colored window tint. Don't know if that'll ever happen, if that's possible. Just keep my fingers crossed for that. Okay, so I've gone through and I've added, I think, all of the major performance upgrades as well. So now, once I'm done with that, I can exit. And I did not have to spend a single dime on this car, and I have a fully upgraded supercar from the new update. So I can go through and I can test this whatever I want. And to save time on the broadcast here, I'm not going to show the track that I used to test out my cars. I'll leave a link to the track that I do use called Hit the Apex. It's a circuit. And you can test that one out online, and that really, I think, helps get a good feel for the car. And so yeah, I'll put the link to Hit the Apex in there. I have memorized the track, so I will do another video that shows this in this mode doing that track.
So in order to get this vehicle into single player, I'm also going to be posting a separate video that will show how to do this. As of recording this video, you can get the Reaper and the FMJ and even the Sports Bestia in single player, but upon trying this with the Pfister 811 and X80 Proto, I haven't been able to get those to work yet. If I do find a way to get those to work, I will post those as soon as possible.
if there's any other questions, feel free to send me a message through Twitch here or YouTube, wherever you're watching this at. If you have anything in mind that you'd like me to talk about or show, if it has something to do with cars, I'm more than happy to do it. So, yeah, thanks a lot.